The story begins with a silent enigma. Deep in uncharted space, the starship Helios intercepts a faint distress signal emanating from Romulus 7, a remote and desolate planet. The signal is unlike any they've encountered, its eerie tones laced with desperation and something darker. Weyland-Yutani Corporation orders a small team to investigate, masking their true intentions under the guise of rescue. Captain Elena Kane, a veteran of countless missions, reluctantly accepts. Her crew includes Dr. Arlo Graham, an ambitious xenobiologist, Lucas Hart, a skilled but reckless engineer, Sergeant Dane, a battle-hardened soldier, and a handful of others, each harboring secrets. As the Helios approaches Romulus 7, strange malfunctions plague the ship. The crew's unease grows as they descend to the planet, its surface a wasteland of jagged cliffs and dark, stormy skies. At the heart of the signal's origin lies a derelict colony. The structures are eerily intact, yet devoid of life. Doors hang open, and meals rot on tables as if the inhabitants vanished in an instant. As night falls, the signal intensifies, leading the team to a vast underground cavern. What they find chills them to their core: a biomechanical alien ship, its design utterly otherworldly, pulsating with faint light. The crew ventures inside the alien vessel, their footsteps echoing in the cavernous halls. Strange hieroglyphs line the walls, depicting violent and cryptic scenes. Dr. Graham theorizes they've stumbled upon evidence of a long-extinct alien civilization. But the air feels heavy, as if the ship itself is alive. Deep within, they discover pods, sleek, black, and pulsating faintly, arranged in precise rows. Lucas, driven by curiosity, approaches a pod despite warnings. When it opens, a facehugger lunges, attaching itself to his helmet. Chaos erupts as the crew struggles to remove the parasite. With no other choice, they retreat to their ship, bringing Lucas and an uninvited nightmare aboard. Lucas awakens, seemingly unharmed, and the crew breathes a tentative sigh of relief. But their reprieve is short-lived. Hours later, during a routine meal, Lucas collapses in agony. His screams are cut short as a creature bursts from his chest, drenched in blood. The alien scurries away, leaving the crew paralyzed with fear and horror. Panic sets in as the ship goes into lockdown. Captain Kane orders a search, but what they don't realize is that the creature is growing, and fast. Within hours, it evolves into a towering predator with an exoskeleton as black as night and acidic blood that eats through steel. The crew's tools and weapons prove woefully inadequate against its relentless assault. The Xenomorph's intelligence becomes apparent as it begins hunting the crew one by one, using the ship's dark corridors and ventilation systems to its advantage. Sergeant Dane leads a counterattack, but their flamethrowers and motion detectors are little match for the creature's speed and cunning. Meanwhile, Dr. Graham obsessively studies the hieroglyphs and the ship's logs. He uncovers a horrifying truth. The derelict ship was a transport vessel carrying a deadly biological weapon, the Xenomorphs. The original crew sacrificed themselves to prevent the outbreak from spreading. The crew's mission was never a rescue. It was a retrieval operation, orchestrated by Weyland-Yutani to secure the ultimate weapon. As Dr. Graham delves deeper, he discovers records from the lost colony of Romulus 7. The settlers had unknowingly unearthed the alien vessel while mining, triggering the Xenomorph's awakening. Footage reveals the colonists' desperate last stand against the creatures, their screams echoing as they were overrun. The crew realizes their peril mirrors the colonists' fate. The signal they received wasn't a call for help but a warning: stay away. In their attempt to escape, the crew inadvertently activates a dormant mechanism within the alien ship. Pods begin to open, releasing a swarm of facehuggers. The survivors scramble to barricade themselves, but the infestation spreads rapidly. The Xenomorphs establish a hive, with a newly emerged alpha leading the swarm. Dr. Graham identifies a strange artifact at the hive's center, a glowing, cube-like object that seems to exert control over the creatures. He theorizes it's a weapon created by the alien civilization to combat the Xenomorphs. But activating it comes with a deadly cost. Tensions reach a boiling point as supplies dwindle and the crew's trust erodes. One of the team, revealed to be a Weyland-Yutani agent, sabotages their plans to destroy the Hive. Believing the Xenomorphs are too valuable to eradicate, the agent betrays the group, allowing the Alpha to ambush them. The traitor meets a gruesome end, torn apart by the very creature they sought to protect. With their numbers dwindling, Captain Kane devises a daring plan. Use the artifact to lure the Xenomorphs back into the derelict ship and detonate its reactor. To succeed, someone must stay behind to activate the artifact, knowing it's a one-way mission. The remaining crew infiltrates the Hive, navigating its labyrinthine tunnels covered in organic resin. They encounter cocooned victims, including some of their own crew, serving as incubators for more Xenomorphs. The Alpha's presence looms, its shrieks echoing through the chambers. Mutations and new hybrid forms emerge from the Hive's depths, terrifying the survivors. Sergeant Dane volunteers to stay behind, activating the artifact as the others flee. The artifact emits a blinding pulse, temporarily stunning the Xenomorphs. Dane fights valiantly, taking down several drones before the Alpha brutally kills him. But in his final moments, he plants charges that destroy key Hive structures, buying precious time. The survivors race against time to reach their ship. The reactor begins to overload, and the derelict ship trembles as explosions ripple through its structure. The Alpha, wounded but enraged, pursues them relentlessly. Shadows writhe as the explosions set off chain reactions, igniting pockets of alien material. In a climactic battle, Captain Kane confronts the Alpha in the collapsing ruins of the derelict ship. Using the artifact, she weakens the creature and traps it beneath a collapsing structure. Kane narrowly escapes, carrying the artifact's remnants. The Alpha lets out one final roar as the reactor detonates, consuming the ship in a cataclysmic fireball. The survivors regroup aboard the Helios, their victory bittersweet. Dr. Graham warns that the artifact's destruction may not have eradicated the Xenomorphs. Kane grapples with guilt and sorrow, mourning those lost. The crew decides to quarantine Romulus 7, marking it as a no-fly zone. As the Helios prepares for its return journey, strange readings appear on their scanners. The crew dismisses it as interference, but the camera pans to the planet's surface. A single egg remains intact, pulsating faintly. A shadow moves across the screen, hinting at a new nightmare. The faint outline of a creature even larger than the Alpha looms in the background. Aboard the Helios, Captain Kane records a harrowing message for future explorers, her voice steady but laced with exhaustion. To anyone receiving this transmission, Romulus 7 is a tomb. It's not a planet for discovery. It's a warning. Whatever we've encountered here is beyond comprehension, and it cannot reach the rest of humanity. If you value life, stay away. As she speaks, subtle anomalies flicker on the Helios's monitors. Strange energy spikes emanating from the planet below. The crew debates whether to investigate, but Kane insists they set a course for deep space, vowing never to return. However, as the Helios departs, the screen cuts to Romulus 7. In the smoldering ruins of the derelict ship, the camera pans over the wreckage. Alien resin spreads like a growing infection, reclaiming the land. The intact egg from before begins to shake violently. Suddenly, the egg cracks, revealing something new. A creature unlike any before, with biomechanical enhancements hinting at its hybrid nature. It emits an ear-piercing screech, and the camera pulls back to reveal an entire chamber hidden beneath the surface. Hundreds of pods are lined in perfect symmetry, pulsating like a monstrous heartbeat. As the screen fades to black, the final words of Kane's transmission echo ominously. If Romulus 7 wasn't their origin, then it's their breeding ground. And we've only delayed the inevitable. The faint, distorted hum of the ghost signal returns, growing louder as the screen cuts to static.